Modern Combat Blackout is the latest installment in Gameloft's long-running FPS series. Gameloft has been a prolific mobile developer for quite some time now, with titles of theirs hitting home and handheld consoles over the years. After being on the quiet front of console releases, they finally released their first title for the Nintendo Switch. So, is this heavily inspired Call of Duty clone a worthy fix for Switch owners, or is it already killed in action? Let's find out. Modern Combat Blackout is, for all intents and purposes, a Call of Duty clone. This Switch version is a port of Modern Combat 5 Blackout. But the biggest difference to point out between this and the free-to-play mobile version is that there are absolutely no microtransactions whatsoever, and it does not require an internet connection to play the main game. At the $20 asking price, everything in the game is achievable in-game. There is still a currency system in place, but it's strictly in-game currency that you earn by just playing the game. This is then used for loot boxes to unlock cosmetics. Also, coming from mobile, it's easy to say that this is a game that plays tremendously better on console due to having access to actual buttons and control sticks. Buttons are all mapped traditionally for those who have been playing FPSs for the better part of the decade, and they've even enabled gyroscope aiming when aiming down the sights. The gyroscope feature is what truly lends to the game's mechanics. What's more impressive is the amount of control customization that Gameloft has provided. You can tweak the right analog stick sensitivity, gyroscope sensitivity, whether or not you even want gyroscope aiming, auto sprint, smoother camera turning, etc. It's all just very well thought out and provides players with those options to tailor their experience. There is a traditional campaign mode and online multiplayer for up to 12 players. The campaign has you playing as Phoenix as you try to stop an international crisis with a bandwagon of soldiers that love to forcefully throw F-bombs at any chance they get.
2 minutes might not be enough. We need to shake these fuckers before we reach the drop zone.
Damn it!
Fucker's dead.
Fuck!
Wait, what the... Fuck! Get down!
The story is mostly just to tie in the locations of the missions, but the plot itself is very much like that of a throwaway straight-to-DVD release. Thankfully though, the campaign missions themselves are quite enjoyable. Each location has about 4 to 8 missions to complete, each with a set of 3 challenges. These can range from get 6 headshots to get 60% accuracy, to even simply complete the mission. It's a fun implementation that kept me wanting to complete all the challenges before moving on to the next. Missions are all designed to be quick pick-up-and-play sessions, with them lasting between 2 to 5 minutes roughly. There is some nice variety in the missions as well, with the occasional on-rails vehicle sequences. Each location has main missions, spec op missions, and a multiplayer mission, with certain locales having a little bit more. Main missions are as you'd expect, allowing you to progress through the main story. Spec Ops missions give you different scenarios to complete, such as playing as a sniper giving covering fire, doing a terrorist hunt and finding a bomb to defuse, or even breach and clear sequences akin to Modern Warfare 2's infamous breach and clear slow motion mechanics. The multiplayer missions are interesting as they put you in a free-for-all with others and provide challenges to try and complete within the match. And speaking of multiplayer, this is certainly where the bulk of your time will be spent. Since Activision has yet to get a Call of Duty title onto the Switch, this will certainly scratch that itch. While there are only Team Deathmatch and free-for-all match types, it's still a blast to play either one of them. Team Deathmatch has you in 6v6 matches, while free-for-all is all 12 players duking it out. There is a loadout system as well. You can create a loadout as well as choose a class for that loadout. These range from Assault to Recon to even some more abstract ones like the X1 Morph and Bounty Hunter that you'll unlock as you level up. Choosing which primary, secondary, and grenade type to have is all there as well, and you can place attachments on the weapons once unlocked. I did like how when you placed attachments, they show you the in-game model of the gun with the attachments viewable live as you did this. As far as playing matches online, the connections seem to be smooth throughout the hours I put into the multiplayer. There is no voice chat, but there is a text chat system in the main menu. However, this is handled differently than most games, as it utilizes global chat. When playing custom matches, you can share a match for others to join on the global chat, as well as read and write to everyone in the server. Even if you're not in the chat room, you will see messages or games to join into that pop up on the bottom left corner of the screen. There's also squads that you can create so you can participate in squad matches, as well as converse privately amongst your squad. Modern Combat Blackout does have its shortcomings though. First off, since this is a port of a mobile game, the main menu UI is ripped straight from there and is a bit convoluted, especially for a console. It just feels very busy. Second, aiming with the right analog stick feels a little bit choppy, even after tweaking the sensitivity settings, and this is mainly due to the frame rate. Being that it's a mobile game, the Switch is very capable of running fantastic looking games with a high frame rate, and this just looks like it could have been optimized a little bit more for the Switch to try and hit that 60 FPS mark versus the 30 FPS mark. And even then, the 30 FPS mark is still a little inconsistent. It's still very playable and very much enjoyable, but I just wish they optimized it a little bit more. Third, there's no proper party up system, so if you're looking to play online with your friends in a ranked match, no dice. The last thing was the sliding mechanic. You can sprint and then push the crouch button to slide to try to get out of harm's way, but the sliding restricts you from aiming at all and doesn't really do a whole lot for you realistically. Visually, I did mention the game's frame rate being within the 30 FPS mark, give or take. The game does look solid overall though. Environments have some nice detail to them, draw distance is pretty good, and the gun animations do the job. Character models do seem a bit stiff animation-wise, and comical when taking them down in multiplayer. In terms of audio, sound effects are serviceable. Music, on the other hand, does help with the immersion. The catchy main menu music and loading screen music help get me into the game and stuck with me even after shutting the game off. And the music during the missions themselves definitely fit the scenarios at hand. Ultimately, Modern Combat Blackout is a game that started off solid and just became more enjoyable the more I played it. Yes, it is a shameless Call of Duty clone. Yes, it is a port of a mobile title. However, Gameloft did a very admirable job bringing this title to the Switch. The fact that they eliminated all microtransactions and the required online connectivity to even play the game alone makes it the definitive modern combat experience. The campaign is campy, but fun nonetheless, and the multiplayer will keep you engaged for quite some time. For $20, Modern Combat Blackout is a great FPS that gives you bang for your buck. That's why I'm giving Modern Combat Blackout an 8.0 out of 10. Here's hoping we see more from Gameloft on the Switch. Possibly Asphalt next?